All right, today we're cracking open the Pros Playbook for waterproofing. But here's the thing, we're not starting with the final sealant or the membranes. No, we're going to dive deep into what's arguably the most critical stage of all, the prep work. Because you know what? Any pro will tell you, the job is won or lost long before you even open a can of sealant. So let's just get right to it, shall we? I mean, you've seen the horror stories on job sites, right? The bubbling, the leaks, the delamination. But what is the real reason behind all these expensive, painful failures? Is it a bad product? Maybe a sloppy application? Or is it something else we tend to gloss over? And there it is. Poor preparation. It's not the exciting part of the job, I get it, but it is, without a doubt, the foundation of everything. If you mess this part up, I don't care if you're using the best, most expensive materials on the market, the job is already set up to fail. And that is exactly what we are going to unpack today. So where does a professional even begin? Well, it's not with a roller or a trowel. It's actually with paperwork. So Section 1 is all about the plan, about correctly reading the job before you even think about stepping foot on site. You've got to think of it like you're a detective following a document trail, right? It starts high level with the work order. That gives you the basic what and where. Then you dig a little deeper into the specifications. That's where you find the exact standards and materials required. And finally, you've got the technical drawings, which give you the visual blueprint. A real pro knows how to connect all three of these to see the complete picture. So, what are you actually hunting for in all those documents? Well, this slide breaks it down pretty nicely. It really just comes down to three key areas. First, the time frame. How long have you got? Second, quality requirements. What specific standards do you have to meet? This could be a national standard, like the Australian standards here, or maybe a very specific client request. And third, physical resources. What gear do you actually need to get it done? Nail these three things down, and you've already completed a huge, crucial first step. Okay, let's move from the desk to the truck. Once the plan is crystal clear, it's time to gear up. This next section is all about getting the right tools for the job, and you guessed it, putting safety first, always. And your first piece of equipment every single time is your personal protective equipment, your PPE. And look, this isn't just a suggestion. This is your first line of defense out there. Something as simple as this high-vis vest you see right here, that's not a fashion statement. That's a critical tool that makes sure everyone on a busy, chaotic site can see you. It's absolutely fundamental. Now, what's really important to understand is how this slide breaks down responsibility. You see, safety isn't just on the employer, and it's not just on the employee. It's a partnership, a two-way street. The employers, they have to provide a safe environment and the right training. But in return, the employees, well, you've got to take reasonable care for your own safety and actually follow the rules. It really is a team sport. Okay, let's talk tools. It really boils down to two main types. Over there on the left, you've got things like angle grinders. These are your action tools. They're for stripping, cleaning, and grinding. Then on the right, you've got tools like a moisture meter. These are your diagnostic tools. They help you understand the conditions of the canvas before you even start painting. And you absolutely need both to do the job right. So we've planned the job, we've gathered our gear. Now let's get to the most hands-on part of this whole process, preparing the surface, or what we call the substrate. A true pro treats this step like an artist preparing a canvas. It has to be absolutely perfect. So first up, you're back to being a detective, a defect detective this time. You are on the hunt for any little imperfection in that canvas. That means looking for drummy spots, those areas that sound hollow when you tap them. That's a huge red flag that it's not properly bonded. You're also looking for voids, bumps, contaminants like oil or grease, basically anything and everything that could stop your new membrane from sticking perfectly. Now let's talk about the #1 silent killer of waterproofing jobs, moisture. If you trap moisture under a membrane, believe me, it will find a way out. As it tries to evaporate, it creates vapor pressure that leads to those ugly blisters you see and can cause the whole system to just peel away. So the key takeaway here is that number at the bottom. As a general rule, you want that moisture content below 8%. But remember, that's a guideline. Always trust the product manufacturer's specific instructions. They are the final word. And once you've identified all the problems, it's time to fix them. You might apply a screed, which is just a thin layer of material to create the right slope for drainage. You'll fill voids with repair mortar, grind down any high spots, and then, this is crucial, you clean everything meticulously. Every single one of these steps is about one thing and one thing only, creating the perfect, most welcoming surface for that membrane to grip onto. Whew, We've covered a lot of ground on preparation, right? So for our final section, let's zoom out. Let's take a look at how all these little steps we've talked about fit into the bigger picture of a complete waterproofing job. And this slide right here, this puts it all together. This is the entire pro workflow from start to finish. And what are the first two steps? Substrate inspection and testing, and substrate preparation and cleaning. See? Everything we've been talking about. They are literally the foundation of the entire process. If you get these wrong, every single step that follows, the priming, the detailing, the final membrane, is all built on shaky ground. And that really brings us to our main takeaway, doesn't it? A truly professional, long-lasting waterproofing job, it isn't defined just by the final watertight result. No, it's defined by the meticulous planning, the rigorous preparation, and that unwavering commitment to safety and quality right from the very beginning.